Hey girl, welcome to the Feminine Founder Podcast, where we are all about learning and growing professionally so that we can build a life that we are proud of and really love. My name is Caroline, and I'm a LinkedIn expert obsessed with teaching female entrepreneurs how to start, grow, and scale their personal brand and business on LinkedIn. This podcast is all about sharing our stories and learning from each other on how to navigate our professional journey so that we can live our best lives. So if you are just starting out on your entrepreneurial journey, or you're growing and scaling an epic company, you are in the right place, friends. Today, I want to talk about the magic that occurs in the LinkedIn direct messaging function. So as you know, I've been very active on LinkedIn over the past year to year and a half now, and it's literally completely changed my life. I decided to commit to LinkedIn about a year ago, and I went from 0 followers to 7,000 in under a year. I went from 0 impressions to over 450,000, and again, under a year. And I've continued that momentum to help propel and expand my professional network, and I'm here to encourage you to do so as well. So one thing you can do in the LinkedIn DMs is you can set up a virtual coffee. I can't tell you how many conversations I've initiated or people have come to me that want to meet virtually for a coffee. So this can be a Zoom meeting. You can make it 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You don't have to necessarily commit a full half hour or a full hour of your life to connecting with this person. A quick chat is fine, and people are used to that. And so it's a good way to meet people over the internet that could help expand your professional network. Number 2, you can connect with a new potential client on LinkedIn in the DMs. Getting a LinkedIn DM from someone that's a potential client is a little bit less aggressive than sending them an email or calling them on the phone. And so you can strike up a conversation. Maybe you guys went to the same school. Maybe you guys have similar connections, LinkedIn connections in common. There's lots of different creative ways that you can strike up a way to start communicating with them and potentially begin a relationship. Number 3, you can be booked as a podcast guest via LinkedIn DMs. I can't tell you how many fabulous individuals I've met and had on my podcast as a guest that have come to me or that I have reached out to via the LinkedIn DMs. So one thing to keep in mind is if that you're interested in being featured as a guest on a podcast, when you're reaching out to the podcast host, make sure that you make your pitch about them and how your expertise or your expert skills can serve their audience. So for example, don't lead with the book that you've just written or the event that you've got coming up that you want to go on their show and promote yourself. Because as a podcast host, you want to continue serving your community and providing value via each episode. And so when you're pitching yourself to a podcast guest, make sure that you make it about them and how you can support their community. Number 4, you can open up a new conversation about a job. I would say if you get a message from a recruiter, you should respond to it, especially if it's not a spammy message. If it's a spammy message, then don't respond. If it's generic, no thank you. But if it's very specific, for example, my recruiting days, I used to be very specific, which is the way I would communicate with people. And I would only reach out to people that I thought would be a good fit for the job. So if you get one of those messages in your DMs, and maybe even you're currently happy at your job, or maybe you're kind of on the fence each day, it changes, definitely reach back out to that recruiter because it's just a conversation. It's just an information gathering session. And you never know, your dream job may be in your DM via a recruiter or via a hiring manager. So be open to the conversation. Number 5, it's a great way to keep in touch with former coworkers and bosses. You never know when you're going to need to tap on their shoulder for a recommendation one day. Also, it's good to keep in touch with them if you're trying to build your network in that specific industry. You can keep up with what they're doing, if they're still at the same company or whatnot. And again, a direct message on LinkedIn is a lot more casual than a text or a phone call. So this is the time I'm encouraging you to start using the DM function on LinkedIn, and let's see what magic can happen.